Hi guys. Your new project is going to be in ballpoint pen, obviously. That is why we've been working with ballpoint pen as our practice with the basic shapes and then just different techniques you can use to shade with a ballpoint pen or some sort of pen. The reason I chose working in pen for our first project is that I know and understand that some of you didn't go get the supply kit, but a pen, just a regular pen, is a pretty standard, like office supply or thing you can find really easily, and make a really great drawing with it. It's often an overlooked art supply, so I wanted you to kind of explore that sort of idea. A lot of you expressed that you liked working with a theme. And so a lot of our projects during distance learning are going to have kind of an open-ended theme that you can wrangle with in your own unique way, which was sort of exciting to see with your isolation projects. And this theme for this project is home. So your drawing assignment is to use the theme home. Your drawing should be in pen. It can be any kind of pen that you're comfortable using. At this point, you've practiced with pen. I am also willing to accept digital pen as long as it feels like real pen. So we want to kind of have our pen drawing feel like it was done on a piece of paper and not like it was done on a tablet. And so make sure if you're choosing to work digital that you're holding yourself to the same constraints as working on a piece of paper. It should feel like a drawing on a piece of paper. You need to explore the theme of home as well as make sure you're including a full range of value. And I have some examples to show you. So your drawing should be a full sheet of paper. So if we think about that sketchbook that I sent home with you guys, I'm talking about like one of those full pages. So that's a 9 by 12 sheet or something comparable. So that's just a regular sized sheet of paper. If you are working digitally, you'll have to figure out how big that is. I'm going to guess that it's, going to be in the, 3,000 by 2,000 pixels, something to that effect. So that you have a decent sized image. If you didn't go get the kit, try to use as big of a sheet as you have. In a couple of the examples that I show you in the presentation, you'll see that if you have a smaller sketchbook, you can work right across the spread, so right across the fold, and make it be a little bit bigger piece of artwork. Obviously, because of the theme home, and that's kind of the reality we're all sort of living with right now, is that we're supposed to be at home. I want you to draw at least partially from life. It can obviously include imaginative elements, but you should think about how you can include real life somehow. It can be one single comic or one single composition. Or it can use a more like comic book style page or graphic novel style page with multiple images being included on the sheet. Here's some artist examples. So this first artist, her name is Andrea Joseph. She lives in the United Kingdom, and she worked for years in just strictly ballpoint pen. It's actually how she got noticed as an artist, and she filled many sketchbooks of elements from her daily life, objects in her direct surroundings, and always working in pen. So you can see that it doesn't matter to me, like if you use black pen or if you use blue pen. I gave you a black pen, obviously, in the supply kit, but like I said, ballpoint pens, super easy to get a hold of. And I do know from looking at some of your practices, you guys have some fun colored pens at home. And so you can go ahead and add a colorful element if you choose to. You certainly aren't required to. One color is completely fine. So you can see here, I've just picked a couple of examples from Andrea Joseph's website, where she is kind of dealing with the theme of home. The one is kind of a bird's eye view of her entire space, and she's, got some little writing on there. She's included a lot of elements. The other one is a little bit more fanciful, or kind of, actually, I felt works really well for the current situation we're all in, peeking out the keyhole at the outside world. So that's kind of an interesting composition as well. And then those realistic like wood and metal textures are really lovely to look at. These are two more from Andrea Joseph as well. One exploring bedroom. And some of those elements are probably real, right? Like her bed and the messy sheets and the lamp. And the rest of that may be exaggerated. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, it can be all from real life, or it can be partially from real life and partially not so much from real life. The image over on the right hand side is kind of a close-up of mail and things on a desk, and it's sort of a different sort of feeling of home. She's got a plane ticket there, or a bus ticket. So, the kind of, there are a lot of different ways for you to interpret the theme home, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I was looking for artwork that used pen and kind of used this theme. The next artist we're going to look at, her name is Nina Johansson. She lives in Stockholm, and she is part of the Urban Sketchers kind of movement, or Urban Sketchers groups, and she has been working recently with ballpoint pen. You can see she's got like multiple colors layered up on the image on the left hand side, and that is her home office there, just using a red ballpoint pen on the right hand side. And then this is what I was talking about in terms of like having, if you just have a sketchbook at home that you're using, your own personal sketchbook, and the sheets are small, go ahead and work all the way across the book on two separate pages that face each other. We call that a spread in sketchbook speak, and you can see that her image goes all the way across the spread. Interestingly enough, like the Urban Sketchers movement right now is having an urban sketch from home, kind of a hashtag right now, because usually urban sketchers kind of travel all over and they sketch where they are, and nobody is supposed to go anywhere, kind of worldwide right now. And so it's a sketch from home movement. And so she has several of these, like this, the view out her window. This is also Nina Johansson's, and it is the view out her kitchen window at night. And so though she used the same like turquoisey and orangey pen from the previous page. And again, you can see that she works all the way across her sketchbook to make sure she gets a full image in. So this is sort of a double layer of the meaning of home. Obviously, those are other houses and apartments that she can see from her home window. So you can, there's a lot of different ways to interpret the theme home. I have some random other artist examples. The one on the far left, obviously, is a guy drawing into his bathroom, which would be home, but it's also a self-portrait. And it uses across the sketchbook fold again. So that's the full page across the sketchbook. If you're using your sketchbook that came from school, one half, like just the one sheet is fine, because that's a pretty big piece of paper for a ballpoint pen drawing. The other two images on this sheet kind of deal with the idea of home in a multi-view or more graphic novel or comic book kind of style. And this is something that you certainly can do. It can be little vignettes. There can be thought bubbles. You can like go through the course of your day in little squares. There are lots of different ways that you can tackle kind of this idea of home. So I wanted to make sure that I showed you some kind of alternative compositions as well. We are going to start first with some planning thumbnails. So think about what the theme home means to you and how you can show that in a visual image. I want you to explore your ideas with thumbnails and sketches that also include some values. So some simple light, darks, and mediums. So I have a series of 6 sketches as examples on the screen that loosely work with the theme, right? I just found these on one of my Pinterest pages on ballpoint pen drawing, and so they worked. But you can see each of them is different. Each of them sort of explores a little bit different composition in and around this same building. And they all are kind of quickly done and not fully shaded in, but we get the idea of where the lights, darks will be. So I want you to create 6 different versions or 6 different ideas. Then you're going to move forward with your final plan, which may be from one of your 6 thumbnails, but sometimes after making 6 thumbnails, you have an idea to combine a couple of them, or after you've kind of noodled about those 6 ideas, sometimes you have a new idea that is better. So your thumbnails should all do with the idea of home, but they don't necessarily have to be exactly what your final ends up being. And then here's the timeline for our project. So obviously today is Thursday, April 16th, and I'm just giving you the introduction to this assignment. And you're going to start planning, kind of noodling about what you think you want to do, and working on your planning thumbnails today. On Friday, tomorrow, you're going to turn in a photo of your thumbnails, and then I'm going to host a live hangout in our Google Classroom. If you're on a Chromebook, it looks like the link kind of pops up at the top under where that class code is. I kind of experimented with it this week in a couple of classes. And you can pop in and just say hi if you want. You can ask some questions about the project. And your work for Friday will be connected to your work from today, in that you're going to turn your thumbnails in sometime tomorrow on Friday, and begin your actual project. You can, of course, when you begin your project, do a light planning sketch first in pencil, or you can proceed directly in pen. It's 100% up to you. By now, hopefully you have practiced enough with ballpoint pen that you are seeing that working in a pen is time consuming to do well. And so when we consider working on this drawing, it's going to take you a couple of hours to complete this drawing and do this drawing well. So this will be our first week during distance learning that I want you to just have work time. So I'm not going to post a separate assignment every single day next week. I want you to be working on your drawing every day next week. So set aside some time to work on your projects each day. Obviously, if you sit down one day and have like 6 hours of uninterrupted work time and you just crank it through, make sure you take some progress shots as you go. So that I can, kind of see what you did along the way. Because I will collect progress shots, like your work in progress at some point during the week, or we'll have some sort of check-in, maybe another Google Hangout thing, or I don't know. Teachers are talking about Flipgrid and things, but I haven't figured these things out. So I will collect some sort of little check-in next week, so it's not going to be that you won't hear from me. But I won't have any new assignment. Like this home assignment is your assignment for next week. And then next Friday, April 24th, your project is due. This is one feedback that I got in that first project I collected from you was that you wanted some examples. So ta-da, here's some examples. And the other feedback I got is that you wanted to see me kind of do the project along with you. And I am going to work on this project along with you. So that's something that I will post next week. As we kind of go, is I'll post like kind of my progress on the project as well. Let me know if you have any questions via email, or like I said, I'm going to do that live hangout tomorrow in the morning. So you can just pop in and check in with me. And I'll probably be working on this project. I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to join on 2 devices and have a tabletop view and a view of me. I'll have to experiment. Anyway, hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have questions. I miss seeing you guys in the classroom. Have fun with this one.